And just wanted to put this out there because our company is primarily focused on segmentation of one in television advertising. Right. In digital, we already have segmentation of one. But something I want to mention, you guys should go to Axiom's website. There's the three companies, Axiom, Newstar, Experience. I'm sure Mukul and Deborah, you guys are using it already. They have information about all of us. You can go and log in and look at your profile. They have your email ID, they have your address, your previous jobs, a lot more information than you can possibly imagine. Some of it comes from scraping, some of it comes from Facebook and some ad exchanges, but that's already out there. So let's not be in this fake illusion that we are private. It's there, it's been happening for the last, 10 years now. Most of the DMPs have been using the data. That's not just it. I mean, I'm not going to mention my colleagues, but one of my colleagues has actually worked where they do shopper prediction, which is prediction scores for how probable are they to purchase a particular sub-product within a brand, not even a particular brand. That's how these prediction scores have gone to. How, I mean, like what you said about coffee, right? Will he buy 10 pods of Starbucks, or is he going to buy 10 pods of Green Mountain? You can actually get probability scores today. This is not futuristic. All that our company is trying to do is bring it to the television ad space. That's it.
Just to add one more thing to that, is there is a site called Blue Card, which is actually a company that was recently bought by Oracle. They have propensity scores on almost every category that you can think of. They also tell you which are the last 5 websites that you visited. So that financial services companies can use it. Say, if you want to give a credit card offer, knowing that you visited 5 refrigerator websites, knowing you're in the market for refrigerators, therefore you might need a loan, so you can make an offer. So that's there too. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think we should be very cognizant of the fact that privacy issues may be very different 20 years from now, in the sense that people will look back, maybe, hypothesis, look back and say, I don't know why these guys were so worried about privacy, because here's the problem. I think when you think about the Internet of Things, I mean, your coffee machine in a generation from now can have a chip inside where you know every moment what's happening to that coffee machine, sitting somewhere in one control tower somewhere.
How do you know we know about it?
Even if we are, you wouldn't tell me. So here's a true story. Apparently a customer about 6 months back wrote to Elon Musk, or Tesla actually, saying, you know, you advertise that this car can go up to 240 miles per hour. That's one of the reasons I bought it, because I wanted to race. Your car doesn't go beyond 204. I tried it. It can't. 24 hours later, the guy got a response back signed by Elon Musk saying, thank you for your letter, blah, blah, blah. Just for your information, we went through your records of the last 1 year. And the maximum speed you've ever driven your car is at 142 miles per hour. You reach that speed at 5:24 p.m. on the Sacramento to San Francisco highway, and that's it. So you didn't ever try to get to the 240. If you try, you'll get there. But just by the way, that particular road you were driving at 140, speed limit there is 75. So watch out.
and that insurance can be sent to your insurance.
Yeah. And you know, people sign up for it. It's gone.
I think people will worry about privacy in a very, very different manner going forward. I think the privacy of today is very different from privacy of tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the other thing, and also, you know, the technology is always one step ahead of the regulation. So that's the other difficulty that comes. Sorry.
Hi, I had a comment. So I've worked in the CPG industry in India for 7 years. So we are talking about privacy of the consumer, but being on the company side, on the brand side, I would also like to say there's also a huge concern about privacy of the brand. So I worked with Heinz and Nivea, and now you have this generation in smaller third world countries who has traveled a lot, and they write in saying, you know, I used this brand when I was traveling here, and it could be as near as Dubai, which is very close to India, and you have frequent travelers doing that route. So can you tell me where I can find it here? Now, I don't want to disappoint that consumer, but how do I tell them, sorry, this brand is not available in this country, we haven't launched it here. So you're disappointing that consumer, disappointing, you know, the consumers or potential consumers he or she is interacting with. So that is also, I feel, one way where technology is disrupting marketing, you know, for CPG brands. So that's one. And secondly, I would just like to pick your brains on, you might have heard of what's happening with Nestle in India. The head of Nestle, India has changed.
The Maggi noodle.
with the Maggi noodles controversy. Now coming from brands where you have very key opinion leaders, like you have dentists with Colgate, you have pediatricians and gynecologists who influence Johnson and Johnson. How could a regular CPG brand who doesn't really have the power of these experts advocating for it, what could they have done differently in your opinion?
Smaller brands, you're saying?
No, just brands in the food space who don't really have such powerful people like doctors or some sort of official body who could advocate for them. What could they have done differently in your opinion?
I think you need to think about your brand credentials and what kinds of credentials you're trying to build among whom. So I don't know anything about the food business because I've never worked in it, but I'll make it up. So for Heinz or a brand like that, nutritional content, right, is something of interest to a lot of consumers, and purity of ingredients and less sugar, etc. So who are the influencers in the nutritional space? And even if you did your homework, you'd know who's blogging about it, who's writing about it, how many followers they have on Instagram, on Twitter. There are ways you could be incisive about data and find these people that no one ever heard of that are influential and get a few of them on your side, and suddenly you start moving sentiment in a profound way.
And then you have on the regulation side, you have the FDA that regulates it. I don't know if
I think
they have the equivalent of the FDA.
So-
I'm not sure.
The FSSAI, yeah.
Okay.
My experience and a couple of personal experiences, and all of you saw the Toyota issue where Toyota had cars plowing into people. I think in the new world, brave new world of marketing, and our CEO did this, Brian Kelly did this after Keurig made some mistakes with the launch of the 2.0. He stood up and apologized. Johnson & Johnson has a great tradition. When you had the Tylenol issue, the CEO pulled all the Tylenol. I think consumers expect honesty. They understand that people make mistakes. They expect honesty, and to them, honesty is the integrity of the brand.
Yeah.
It's okay to make a mistake.
Didn't work very well with Volkswagen.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know if you
I think they've apologized.
Yeah, but
I think.
And that was not a mistake.
But to get very now, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know where the truth is in the Maggie case. So I'm not speaking on behalf of either the regulators or on behalf of Maggie, but I'm just responding to news that I appeared yesterday, which is that every single product that was tested based on the Bombay High Court order, every single product has been found well within the limits. Now, the truth is obviously somewhere else, and the failure is not about having the right testimonials or having the right credentials. The failure is about anticipating what can go wrong with your brand and trying to find the right kind of influencers early on before the controversy becomes much bigger, and being able to manage that. I think we are, as brand custodians, we are responsible for creating brand demand, but also we are responsible for protecting brand reputation. I think these two are integral part, and I think sometimes we ignore the reputation part and we assume that things will happen, will get taken care of. And I think somewhere there is where there was a gap.
There was a question there.
I have a slightly different question. Dishan Lichi from IIM-Connect. Conversation I was having earlier with Tiger as well. The data is telling a lot of things. We've been doing data-based recommendations and predictions for over 8 years. General Electric is a customer, Target, Walgreens, they're customers. My question is, right now we are recommending pricing and promotions for different categories to different organizations based on micro-segmentations. Do you see the role of data and predictions in product design and product launches as well? And if so, how do you see it influencing your actual product pipeline or the way you design your products, and not just related to customer-facing, channel-facing activities in terms of what promotions to run or how to reach a consumer, but to actually bring it much more into the initial phase of your product design capabilities?
So I think it depends from industry to industry. Also, if we take a very narrow view of product as in a physical product, then obviously there are limitations to which data can influence. But if you expand the product and then you see that it has always been that consumer feedback has been used to design a product. Nothing new about it. For centuries we have been doing that. Data is a much more larger scale and a probably it's a set of information that is available to you, which is available for you to tap into. Now, it requires a very insightful organization to tap into the data to figure out whether there is a product and business opportunity. But certainly, it is possible to design either your delivery systems, your packaging formats, your micro-targeting to certain segments where you are not been able to, you've not done that before, or looking at how people of different segments are behaving differently in order to create innovations. So yes, the answer is not just yes, but an absolute resounding yes. It is possible. In fact, that's where bigger value of data is. The value of data in pricing and promotion is the commodity end of the data.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give an example from my Procter & Gamble days where we missed something. So those of you who wear makeup in the room, Revlon Color Stay, which was a long wear lipstick, was a breakthrough in that kind, came out more than 10 years ago. We did a study looking at all consumers and said, oh, it's going to be a failure. You know, general acceptance is not very good. It's drying to the lips, it's polarizing, dismissed it. Well, suddenly it started taking off, and when we cut the data again, we saw among a small segment of wear seekers that were very heavy lipstick users, this was a huge idea. So it's back to how do you segment, how do you look at micro populations, what kind of consumption habits do they have, and really getting more granular and incisive of how to use data. And relook at how you evaluate products. It was a very polarizing product for most, but among some, it was very appealing. So that was just one example of missing a big trend, because the way we cut the data.
Yeah, if I can just follow up on that exact point. The reason I asked that question was, I think larger organizations are used to launching products for a